Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen you in the morning for a while either, Kanji. It's just kind of bittersweet that your social link is maxed out, so I don't really get to hang out with you much anymore. I mean, Kanji never really trusted cops to begin with, so I'm pretty sure his faith is shattered even more than it already was now. The Kanji way. It's one step up from the man's way. Actually, wait, no, the man's way is just like a Dan Hibiki joke attack, I think. I think it's like one of his taunts. Okay, good, I still have Apsaras. Because we are actually going to be seeing Temperance today, for some reason. Oh, okay then. Well, I mean, considering that his voice actor is also the bad guy right now, then it kind of fits. Oh boy, the woes of a daycare attendant being forced to participate in the children's games. My sister, I probably already mentioned this, but my sister did daycare work as her first job, and this happened to her a lot. I'm not that weak. That's pretty good. But yeah, I was just thinking about that, how, like, you and Adachi sharing the same voice actor, although admittedly, yeah, he only says vague, silent protagonist grunts and persona calls as you. I can't hear you. Nice boys and girls don't hit, to quote the anime. Of course, it backfired in that instance, but still.
Hearing him call me Mom, it had a nice ring to it. He's actually a sweet boy.
She's finally getting to know her son more. And realizing things like this.
I was blind. No, I wasn't even trying to see him for myself. Maybe I was just afraid of facing him. You're right.
That's like one of the nicest lines of narration I've seen in this game. And yet, that's only rank 9. So many of these higher ranks have a lot of fully voiced lines. You'd almost expect the entire rank up to be fully voiced, but it sadly isn't.
Utah, let's go home.
It's like they voiced most, but not all of it?
Then I'll see you again.
But yeah, a few things that I was saying were that, one, in the anime, Yu Narukami should have realized that the first thing that kids that age generally like to do with costume mascots is to attack them. And two, yeah, the whole thing with Johnny Young Bosch voicing both Yu and Adachi. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but in the anime, he gives Adachi a much raspier and nasally voice to differentiate him from Yu, because Yu has full dialogue in the anime. So yeah, it's kind of interesting that way. Because in the game, he didn't have to worry about that, because silent protagonist. And some other major stat increases that we don't need. I do find it, like, this isn't the only game, I'll just say, where the main hero and the main villain have the same voice actor. It's something that I have seen done fairly commonly, although in some cases it's justified in the villain being some kind of clone or related to them in some way. But in this case it's not, and I'll go more into the parallels between you and Adachi later, because there's definitely a lot of them. But I also think Adachi parallels a few other party members as well. And so everyone was relieved in the fog, because it means people can't see very far and don't see more than what's directly in front of them. Well, that's not good. Well, yeah, it's literally like the variety show that plays at midnight. Yeah, this whole segment of the game is just so creepy. Everyone is just obsessing over the fog, losing their minds, being happy that the fog is here. It's okay, I guess I can actually start going into this now, because what social link are we doing? I'm pretty sure, yeah, we're doing Sun. Do I have a Sun persona? I get the feeling that I don't right now. No, I also have a Fortune persona that I don't need anymore. But while I'm getting a persona out of the compendium, I can just talk about this. So, a lot of people love to say, and like, okay, don't get me wrong, I love Persona 3. Persona 3 is still my favorite game out of 3, 4, and 5. But I feel like a lot of people like it for, I wouldn't exactly say the wrong reasons, but not for the same reasons that I personally like it. There are a lot of people who feel like Persona 3 is, oh, like, super dark and edgy, and I mean, admittedly, its Persona summoning method involves shooting yourself in the head, so yeah, but people are like, oh, P3 is so dark, edgy, and brooding, and angsty, and then Persona 4, like, look, its central color is yellow, and it's all happy, and sunshine and rainbows, and it's all Scooby-Doo, blah, 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 anime, blah. And while, yes, overall Persona 4's tone is very different to 3, and overall it is a lot happier, I personally find Persona 4's darker moments, and this is just a personal thing with me, I personally find its darker moments to be a lot worse than Persona 3's darker moments. And that's because even though Persona 3 has some really, really awful things in it, all of them are pretty much entirely fantastical, and most of its antagonists have completely fantastical motives. I won't say any more as to not spoil P3, but a lot of the situations that occur in P3 are not the kind of thing that you would encounter in real life. Persona 4, while the killer is using supernatural methods, and the fog obviously is very supernatural, a lot of the horrors of P4 are rooted in the mundane, and that's what I think makes them infinitely worse. Like Adachi, even though, again, he uses supernatural methods, Senpai? Adachi is exactly the kind of, like, real life, like, the kind of person who would be a real life serial killer. Like, there have been a lot of murders exactly like his. The kind of motives that he has, and just the overall, the way he acts, the facade he puts on. Anyway, I'll stop talking about that because it's way too dark to be going on through Ayane's precious cinnamon roll social link, and also something kind of interesting is going to happen in this rank up. In fact, I also need to look up my alternate sun because I'm looking at the wrong sun because of Hurricane Harlan's guide being drama. Oh, okay, yes, this is the rank up I'm thinking of. So,
I need to start being more selfish.
Oh, right, okay, that wasn't the confession that I was thinking of. This is really interesting, though. Sorry to suddenly go on to a completely different topic to what I was mentioning before, but I do find, like, we're always told that selfishness is bad, and yes, excessive selfishness is, but if you never do anything for yourself, then that is also unhealthy. I know I've fallen into that mentality sometimes. And also, this is interesting too.
Well, no, that's not true.
Of course, there's a difference between a healthy argument and the kind of ship that a lot of people like, where it's like, oh, I'm going to ship two characters who hate each other.
That's why I thought I could avoid getting hurt by just going with the flow. It was the easiest way out.
Okay, not to spoil later games, but Ayane, you would actually be very at home in Persona 5. Well, considering our shadows, that is just like all of us. We've all faced that. It is actually interesting how many of the social links effectively have shadows, we just never get to see them. They kind of face them outside of the TV world. What Ayane is getting at here is yet another topic that I want to go over in detail before we get to the next dungeon, but I might not get a chance to address that in this part.
So from now on, I'm not gonna pretend that I don't care what happens anymore.
So as you might have noticed, no dialogue choices for that rank up, which means no additional points. That's gonna slow this Link's progress more than the alternate Sun Arcana for drama, and it's actually gonna slow down even more. Because this happens. And here's where I'm going to feel kind of bad, but it's nowhere near as bad as rejecting the other version of Sun, which is the main reason why I chose this version of Sun. But Ayane is also the character designer's favourite character, something I've mentioned before, so it's good to give her more screen time. I'm guessing that's why she was picked to appear in the anime over Yumi. So yeah, this kind of hurts, but in order to go the platonic route, we have to change the subject before she can fully confess. And unfortunately, she does take it kind of badly, but still think it's better than cheating.
Goodbye.
Okay, I am actually reloading here because I messed up something last time. Huh, that's interesting. I was supposed to approach us at lunchtime today, but she didn't. I definitely had a matching persona for her last rank up. That's really... Oh. So we're not supposed to read tonight. We're actually supposed to go out into the thick, awful fog and spend nighttime hanging out with I. Because this is actually the only way to get her points high enough to rank up tomorrow, which we'll need to. Actually, I'm not entirely sure if that's ethical in terms of boss behavior, but still. I wanted to see if the hostess has anything to say about the fog. No, just worried about the new year. Okay, now spending time with I. It is interesting how they frame it like this as calming them down, like with all the fog.
You know...
Well, that's one way of looking at it. Yeah, that would definitely happen. Yeah, this just reminds me of that one Doctor Who episode. Which actually, like, when you find out why the kids are wearing gas masks and that, it becomes even creepier. But it's like one of the very early episodes of the new, like, the first ever new Doctor Who series. So I won't spoil it. But anyway, if you say not worried, it's the best points increase with her.
Thanks.
Yeah, jumping on the bandwagon, I guess. I mean, hopefully they sell them for better prices than Tanaka does. But yeah, this just shows how these nighttime hangouts do change to reflect the state of the plot at the time you do them. But usually, if you then hang out with the same person the next night, it'll just be a generic you spend time with them. Until you reach another point in the story where their conversation would change.
Here, take this.
You also get an item out of a nighttime hangout. Some of them are actually really good too. I probably mentioned that before because I think we did a nighttime hangout with like Naoto once. Yeah, we did. Okay, one more day until the 15th. I was about to say what day that is and then I didn't want to spoil it.
Hello.
It's the day of a certain persona and oh, hi Naoto. We haven't actually seen Naoto walking with us to school for a while. And now she thinks we've been running into each other a lot. Yeah, basically more deadline warnings. It's kind of interesting how in the bad endings nobody's turning into shadows despite the fog being there, but I suppose they just didn't want to spoil that plot points because the bad endings are, like, you could get those before finding out about that. Yeah, it's not just Inabe anymore. Start out with a murder investigation, move on to saving the world. That's kind of the plot of a lot of games. TV Tropes even has a trope for it, minor crime reveals major plots. Yeah, okay, so this time I has approached us at lunchtime, so we're gonna say yes. And I just remembered what this is, so this one's also gonna be kind of painful. So, from now on, class is going to get increasingly more restless. And that music that's playing there, I think it actually played in Persona 3 for if you reversed a social link. I know it's a Persona 3 song, and it also plays during some creepy plot moments. It's, again, just watching the town basically tear itself apart is another thing that, just like Adachi, I feel is another one of the kind of mundane horrors in this game. This is another one that I kind of wish was fully voiced. Oh, because you're nice and because we're friends. Well, we actually had to get your better path.
What was I supposed to do? It's only natural that I'd fall in love.
Okay, this isn't the thing to be worried about at this point, but that first, what was I supposed to do? That sounded so much like Severa. It's the same voice actress, by the way. So, yes, on this route, you have the option to get into a relationship with I for real. If you take the other route, which I like to call the fake lovers route, you start out in kind of an artificial relationship and it automatically breaks up at rank 9, but you can still end up being friends. Unfortunately, yeah, I hate rank 10 rejections, and I'm glad that there weren't any of those in Persona 5. But at least, as far as rank 10 rejections go, this one is a lot better than the other one in P4. The other one is Drama Sun, and that one is horrible. Because she's still happy after all of this. And she's moving on. Also, this line is kind of funny if you choose the canon name.
You're the only one who didn't pay attention to the rumors flying around about me. You saw me as I am. Thank you. Here, take this. Thank you.
Sandalphon is a powerful angel from Abrahamic tradition, though he's most prominent in Rabbinic Judaism and early Christianity. Sandalphon is described as the brother of Metatron, but this may be metaphorical, as while Metatron is viewed as the human prophet Enoch transfigured into an angel, Sandalphon is sometimes considered the ascended form of the prophet Elijah. Sandalphon is often considered a protector of unborn children, and his name may come from the Hebrew Sandek, meaning Godfather. The second half of his name may come from the Greek Adelphos, meaning brother, but take that with a grain of salt because the name origins are a bit disputed. Depictions of Sandalphon vary a lot, but the one thing all sources agree on is that he is extremely tall. The compendium says it would take over 500 years to traverse the length of his body, but according to other sources, that's 500 years more than a certain other prominent angel, so it may even be longer than that. Some sources say that he's responsible for delivering prayers, hence his title in the game. And speaking of the game, Sandalphon has some pretty solid overall stats, and like many Moon Arcana personas, these stats lean towards mixed attacking, although his light inheritance type prevents him from inheriting physical skills in Fusion, which is annoying. He does learn one of the stronger physical skills in the game, Agnayastra, through level up, and this is also his skill card ability. Other than that, as befitting of an angel, he learns a lot of light and healing abilities, and also learns a skill to cover his dark weakness. He's also one of only 5 personas to learn Angelic Grace, and one of those 5 is New Game Plus exclusive. I'd also like to draw attention to a fusion forecast. If you make any Moon persona on the 3rd of February, that persona will gain the Unshaken Will skill, which grants immunity to all ailments besides poison. It's a long time to hold off on fusing him for, but it's something you may want to remember if you still haven't made him by that point in the game, as Unshaken Will is a fantastic skill. Yeah, so unfortunately it does end on kind of a sour note if you don't go her romance route. That's another reason why I don't like putting the route splits in rank 10s. But again, it's so much worse in the drama version of Sun. And so tonight we're actually reading this time. Let me guess, you're gonna say go into the TV, aren't you? Yeah, well, unfortunately, we have all the time to sit, and this is the only time we have to sit on our ass and relax, because, yeah, Kanji doesn't know that the game mechanic's gonna force the month to skip to the end after we catch Adachi, so, yeah. Yeah, Shinto is the literal meaning of the term, the divine way, although, in my course I did on Japanese history, I think it's like, it wasn't actually called Shinto officially until the Meiji Restoration. But that's a whole other, yeah, set of historical issues that I won't go into here. Like, the belief system definitely existed, but, it just wasn't called Shinto. So before, the town of being in ruins was everyone's soulmate, and now countless shadow creatures crawling out of the fog and killing everyone is everyone's soulmate. I shouldn't be laughing, but that just sounds like the end of like a bad creepypasta or something. It's like that classic horror thing of, oh, I found a gravestone that had my name on it! Yay, let's all turn into mindless shadows! Well, I mean, admittedly, yeah, turning into a monster is kind of cool in theory, but, just reminds me of something that happened on, as of now, recently, Critical Role, where someone polymorphed into a T-Rex and then ate, an enemy, and then turned back into a human, and wondering how that would exactly work. Yes, because when everyone is shadows, no one is. So yeah, everyone is has just completely lost it right now. And it's hard to tell if it's just paranoia or if the fog really is infecting everyone's brains and making them think like this, which makes it even more terrifying. So I'm going to need a Hangman persona today, and that means I have to go to the Velvet Room, but I want to go to the Velvet Room anyway, because today, like I said, there's a fusion forecast that I did not want to forget. It's one of those few fusion forecasts that is specific to a certain persona. So if we check the fusion forecast, create the persona Alice, Angelic Grace added. Now, if you don't have the requisite components, you will not see Alice show up in the fusion menu at all. But because I do, if I go to Death, There we go. Yeah, you might notice that Alice is highlighted in purple and a shiny border. That means that she's a secret fusion. These personas do not even appear in the compendium as question marks until you've made them. Alice, in this game, and this is different from Persona 3, requires you to fuse Nebiros and Belial. This might be confusing to people who aren't familiar with Shin Megami Tensei lore, but in mainline Shin Megami Tensei, these two are basically Alice's two surrogate dads. So that's kind of what they're referencing there. Now, annoyingly, even though both of these two have a full set of skills, because this is a double spread and not a triple spread, Alice only gets 4 skill inheritance slots. So, there's so many skills that I want to pass down here, but I only have 4. Like, I could go Absorb Physical, Repel, Absorb, and I'm already out of slots, and I have an Alice that's very defensive, but can only use instant death attacks, which is admittedly her specialty, but still, I'd rather have at least one attacking skill. I also want Spellmaster, and I'd also really like Auto Mataru. But I guess I'll go for Spellmaster. I suppose I'll prioritize the absorbs over the repels, although I would also like Fire Amped Argidyne. Because Alice is very strong magically, and she does naturally learn Mind Charge, so I don't need to worry about passing that down. I guess I have Teddy for Ice. It's hard, because I know that I already have Yukiko for fire damage. But anyway, I think I'm going to go with this, but I will definitely buy back one of those personas because I really want to keep passing down all of those amazing repel skills. And so, here she is. Gets a unique summoning line, too. She's going to do the well, actually, it's not even a finger wave, it's just more of a point. Or a imaginary poke. And yes, this is who Teddy was dressed as. Actually, Teddy was more dressed as the Disney Alice and not this Alice. In Dual Light. If I'd leveled up Nebiros more, I would have got Null Light, but I don't know. Yeah, I wasn't able to do that because we're not on the TV at this point. I guess I can get rid of Dekunda. Oh, her skill card is Mind Charge? I forgot about that. Okay, then. I like Megadola. I like all of these up there. And Dual Light is not amazing. I have Homunculi as well, and at level 79, which I don't... Yeah, she's not going to hit it. She gets Die For Me, her signature ability, which has been nerfed compared to P3, but it's still decent. So yeah, this is the bonus skill she got out of the Fusion Forecast. It's specific to December 15th, and just for Alice. Double evasion against everything besides her weakness, and the one thing that she repels. But alright then, this is actually kind of a problem, because I like Mudo Boost on Alice. And I like Spellmaster, and I like Megadola. There's too many good skills here, that's the problem being this late in the game. Because Mudo Boosted Die For Me is really good, especially with Spellmaster. I mean, to be honest, I kind of want to dump that, because Almighty is not great in this game, apart from against hands, and I already have Naoto for that. So I guess I'll just go with that. So yes, we now have Alice. And all of the money that I spent on fusing Belial and Nebiros means that I'm probably not going to make use of the 19th Fusion Forecast, and that is... gonna get Hangman first, and that is getting Arms Master on Yoshitsune, which is arguably a lot better, but I kind of wanted to show Alice because... well, Yoshitsune is a very well-known persona, but Alice, her fusion method might be a little obtuse to people who don't know about it, so... yeah, and the fact that she won't actually show up at all unless you know how to fuse her is a bit of a guide, dang it. There's also another one of those of the Judgment Arcana, who requires Shiva as well, so another maxed social link that you need to do. Okay, closer soon. Today we are going to spend some time with Naoki.
Yes.
And this is actually really fitting because we've finally found the guy who killed your sister. We know that for sure this time. So don't worry, your sister will have justice soon. And yeah, on that note, we actually are going to the crime scene. I understand that. I think I said this before, but I'm actually a lot like Naoki. Everyone grieves differently. Not everyone cries like that. And it's very common, I find, for people to think of themselves like this.
Yeah. She must have wanted to live more, huh? Thank you. I'll see you again.
Don't worry, Naoki. We're gonna catch the one who killed her, we promise. Yeah, I'm almost crying out of that too. It's just that rank. I think it's actually really appropriate doing that right now because it just shows just how awful what Adachi did was. It's just everyone, just no one deserves to have their life taken from them like that. Everyone has their own life and their own relationships, and he just had to end that. Just because of his own selfish...